Back around December 15th, Oppo announced their first folding smartphone, the Oppo Find N, which I'm super excited to have in the house today to share my first impressions with you. Oppo stated that they invested a significant amount of time into this Find N, including the hinge design that they call the Flexion hinge, which we'll take a look at here shortly in more detail. But first, diving into the box, we have the folding phone, some documentation, a charging cable, and we even get a charging brick in the box. I also have a case from Oppo which looks pretty solid, keeping this investment protected. Throwing the case on really quick, you can get an idea of the overall look, texture, and the level of protection this case will provide. The Oppo Find N has some powerful specs, including the Snapdragon 888 chipset. This particular model I have has 12 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. There's also an 8 gigabyte RAM model with half the storage available at the entry price point. There is a fingerprint scanner here on the power button, which the setup was super quick, and the fingerprint unlock seems really responsive out of the box. As far as battery, this is packing a 4500 milliamp hour battery with 33 watt flash charging, with Oppo claiming you can get 55% in 30 minutes and 100% in just over an hour. It of course has wireless charging as well, but at 15 watts. I cannot wait to see how this performs in my daily usage, especially compared to the Z Flip 3 and the Z Fold 3. While the outer 5.49 inch display has a 60 Hz refresh rate, the inner 7.1 inch landscape display includes a dynamic refresh rate of 1 to 120 Hz. Both displays have a peak brightness of up to 1000 nits. These displays of course are developed by Samsung before getting custom calibrated by Oppo during final assembly. What I love is when folded you still get a standard 18:9 aspect ratio, making it much easier to use one-handed, but also making it even more pocketable when on the go. Now, as Oppo calls it, back to that Flexion hinge, it's made up of a whopping 136 components with up to 0.001 millimeters of precision. The water drop hinge design results in a minimal crease that's up to 80% less noticeable than other foldables like the Galaxy Z Fold 3 or the Flip 3, which both have a pretty substantial crease. This not only eliminates much of the crease, but also eliminates the gap between the displays when folded. It's quite impressive, and even more impressive holding it here in person. Oppo went with a triple camera setup which houses a 50 megapixel Sony IMX sensor, a 16 megapixel ultra wide lens, and a 13 megapixel telephoto lens. There's also two selfie cameras, one on the front display and one on the internal display. I'm definitely looking forward to testing out these cameras, not just taking photos, but shooting some 4K footage to see how it stacks up to other foldables on the market. As for availability, if you're curious about picking this one up for yourself, this was officially released December 23rd, but only in China. However, you can import it. I'll include a few links in the description below if you're interested, but of course import at your own risk. You can also pick these up on sites like Swappa as they come available from resellers. This comes in three main color options: white, black, and purple. As I noted before, there's two versions, one with 8 gigabytes of RAM and one with 12 gigabytes of RAM like this model I have. Price wise, this will run you around $16 to $1800 US dollars, but in some cases maybe even more depending on how you acquire it. If you really want one ASAP and you can get one under $1600, I'd jump on it, but stay tuned for the full review and final thoughts on this Find N. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you plan to pick one up? What features are you most interested in? Or what would you like to see me cover in that full review? I look forward to the conversation. Thank you for watching. Take care and stay safe.